Hey, good morning, guys. Mike with M2 Bricks here. Just want to give you a quick update on some Lego City progress. It's been a little while since I've been on here. We made some progress on getting some train track integrated into this main strip that's going to run along the front edge of the city. I haven't been able to cut a piece of plywood to fill this gap here because it's been super cold and snowing here in the Northeast. So once the weather gets a little bit nicer, we'll get that set up and get that finalized so that we can finish our road section over here. There's going to be a section of road that goes straight to connect these two sections. You can see the brick bank is a corner section here. So that section of road is going to tee off and go that way, and the train is going to continue across to the other table here when that section's done. So we did finish building the Jazz Club. That's the back of it there, and I did tile off the alley to match the Parisian restaurant, give that a little bit more detail there, and whichever two buildings end up here, I'll do the same, so it's got a nice alleyway in between there. So these guys are going to stay where they are, I think. I'm going to do a little custom mock building to fill in that 16 by 32 gap in between those modular buildings and the construction site here. So the construction site was actually a really fun build. Enjoyed some of the different techniques in that one. One thing I did notice is the crane was a little bit short for the building, and unfortunately it just came with the porter potty. Like, this crane also came with a porter potty to lift, which to me seems kind of ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen a big construction crane like that lifting a porter potty. They usually just get delivered on a truck. So I actually went ahead and got some parts and made myself a nice 1x24 custom I-beam. These are the 3x4 modified plates that are somewhat tiled off. So it's just got that center row of studs, and I think that actually looks really awesome. So that looks really cool. Give that a nice bit of detail. Apologize for the focus there. And the crane itself was a little bit short, so I actually ended up adding two more sections of these yellow girder pieces, whatever you want to call them, and I added another ladder and connection section so that this runs the full length. And I think that just gives it a little bit more height so that you could actually see it will, you could lift that beam high enough so that there's still a little bit of room and you could actually, place it up there, if you want to. So just a little bit more detail there. In addition to that, we also finished adding some detail to the train track that is running around this section. Haven't gotten to this curve part yet, but you can see I have this all ballast plated here. And the outside edge, I did a nice little brick border detail so that it has a nice clean finished look all the way through. In order to get this section to line up with this curve here, so normally you want your train tracks 4 studs in from the edge of any plate so that when you get to the corner, your corner ends up 4 studs over and it's not shifted into the next section of track or too far this way, and then you've got a gap of 1 or 2 studs, because these flex tracks are in 4 stud increments. So if you have this shifted over at all, it's not going to line up right. So what I ended up doing is shifting this over. Now I'm only 2 studs over here. That gives these guys a little bit more yard space, which I'm going to add some detail there later. And then that gets me to this interchange, and this is going to go forward and to this table. When we get to it, this is going to be rail yard and then some beachfront and then some ocean all the way down at the end there, which I know it's a little bit of a mess, so that's coming later. But then this section here, in order for this to integrate with the road and still have enough room to have the road and then a couple of studs and then the track, I really had to push this right up against, so you could see there's only 1 brick between that edge. And in order for me to get this angle right, I had to do this whole corner and flex track. This is going to get a custom built plate where this is going to get built into this and have the corner of the road here. And this section actually does some elevation change. So you could see here, this is at exactly road height, maybe plus one plate high. So in order for me to get to that height all the way up to this ballasted height, which is a brick plus two plates, I come down here one plate every one or two sections of flex track until I get to my final height here. So this will just get, jumpered in where needed, and I'll do a, conversion from this ballasted layout to the, completely tiled integrated track, in the future. I don't know if you guys noticed previously, but I had some missing 2x2 light gray plates around the city that weren't filled in. Did get a bricklink order in to fill those spots up, so that's all nice and completely tiled off now. So that looks great. While we're here, this is the front of the Jazz Club. So I did a couple of different things with all of my modular buildings. I personally like having the light gray sidewalk match my light gray sidewalk on my road plates, because this is in the darker gray, which really is sort of more realistic. This is going to be your, asphalt. It really should be almost black, but the contrast between this and your sidewalk, which is normally cement, at least where I live, might be different where you're at. So to get that contrast and keep that consistent, I actually did custom tile this. So normally it's got the light gray 1x6 borders, kind of like the Palace Cinema, which I left that one alone because I really like the look of the dark around the star tiles. So I left that one alone, so it kind of stands out a little bit, compared to the others. The other ones I completely inverted. So all of the dark gray tile I swapped for light gray, and then if there was light gray, like see here, there was light gray surrounding this. So I reversed it. So instead of the light gray there, I put dark gray. And then I did the same thing here with the Jazz Club. So this is actually all in light gray. If you just build the set exactly as is, this outline here is all light gray. These pieces here are light gray as well, I believe. This outline here, and these 1x2 tiles are normally dark gray to match the sidewalk. So I reversed everything so that now the sidewalk is light gray to match my sidewalk. And I think it looks pretty good that way. This side of the road has a lot of sidewalk because the road is centered, but this side has the bike lane. This side has 3 tiles on the road plate and then another 3 tiles on the actual building. So one more fun custom project that I've been working on is the Palace Cinema. So when I converted this from the standard base plate to the Mills plate to integrate with the city, I hadn't realized that the inside wasn't actually tiled off. So what I went ahead and did was I went into Bricklink Studio and grabbed the instructions for the Palace Cinema, and this way I was able to actually lay out a nice tiled grid for the inside, and I think that came out just amazing. That's sand blue 1x2 tiles, and I think it's the dark tan 1x1s in the centers, and then just standard red 2x2 tiles. The original base plate was red, and I did not copy that through. I did the base plates in light gray, which you could see through the grates there. It's just a light bluish gray. So the inside kind of looked a little, blah with just, gray plate exposed. So I wanted to, give that a little bit more detail, and I think that pattern just absolutely screams movie theater. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Really happy with how that turned out, and I think that's pretty much it for now. Got a few more projects coming down the pipeline. I'm working on a couple designs for a custom mock of my house, actually, that'll be built, long down the road, but it's something I've been working on. And I've been working on another skyscraper that will go probably next door to the Avengers Tower when I get that built. So the next up on my to build list is the shopping street. So we'll get that built and get that in there. and I'll probably either work on the police station after that, or possibly I might step it up and get the Avengers Tower built, and that is going to go back in this corner alongside the construction site. I'm going to try and situate more of the taller buildings in the back here. So I'm thinking that'll stay there. The Avengers Tower will probably go next to it, so it's right at the end of this road here, which will give it a great view. Alternatively, in the future, when I have this table continued, this road is going to go straight here, and it's going to actually end right at the end of the table. So when you first walk down my stairs, you're going to see, you're going to be able to look straight down this road. And I think having the Avengers Tower right at the end there, I think that'll look fantastic. So that might move around if I end up building that sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's it for now, and I'll keep you guys posted on any updates. All right, thanks for jumping on, and see you guys soon.